So it has been quite a while since we saw the short teaser of Godzilla Minus One, and between then and now, there have been many rumors regarding the Big G that will be seen this November. Well, December in the States. The most controversial and most gossip about is the presence of another monster in the movie, and to be more specific, another Godzilla. There have been leaked plots circulating around 4chan and Reddit about the general theme of the movie, and while these are to be taken with a grain of salt, one couldn't help but wonder if the birds are really chirping the truthful chime. So here in this video, we will address the rumors and discuss what they really are. So let's first start with talking about what we have seen in the teaser in a couple of sentences. Godzilla Minus One will be the first live-action Toho Godzilla movie since the critically acclaimed Shin Gojira of 2016. It promises to bring back the horror and terror that the original 1954 Godzilla brought to the screens. It will be centered around post-war Japan in the 1940s, and maybe stretch on to the early 1950s as well. The Godzilla we saw in the teaser lives up to the hype. It was seen rampaging across a Japanese city, wreaking havoc and about to munch on a train, just like the original did in the very first movie. The Godzilla will be around 60 meters or 200 feet tall, or if not less, since the producers aim for a kaiju that can actually have a believable interaction with the people of the nation of Japan. It looks to be more spiky and rough in texture, with a menacing face and a personality that matches its looks. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at these theories. The two Godzilla theory is something that has been swimming around various sites gaining traction, and to be honest, we don't really know if it has a solid foundation, or it's just a hyper-enthusiastic fan claiming to know about the plot and then things just got out of hand, and from then on, it just became bigger than life, let's say. But it actually wouldn't be that unrealistic. It won't be the first time we see two Godzillas in the same movie. The very first time Mechagodzilla entered the screens, he was disguised as Godzilla himself. Then there is Space Godzilla vs. Godzilla, and if you count the baby Godzilla and Minilla, then that makes for another couple of movies. Heck, even the Monsterverse did that in 2014, although here it's Dagon's dead body, and then the Big G later in the film. So what I'm saying is that it's not really that far-fetched. Okay, now let's take a look at the different theories. The first one is the one Godzilla, two forms theory. This will be like an evolution plotline like Shin Gojira. Here, Godzilla might make landfall in Tokyo or some other city just after the nuclear bombings, and then return back to the sea only to reappear again after a few years when Japan has started to rebuild and return to normal. This time he will appear as a bigger, more evil entity that has been driven to kill humanity for upsetting its underwater home with nuclear waste dumping. And then slowly he will begin to take on another even deadlier form, even bigger one, forcing the Japanese Defense Force to react and alongside Shirizawa, develop the oxygen destroyer weapon to kill the G-Man, just like in the very first movie. They did after all state that this will be some sort of a reboot of the original, so in order to stay true to the OG, the storyline must unfold the same way. The second theory is the two Godzillas, the good and evil theory. So the origin of this information seems to be a 4chan or Reddit post. It suggests that the movie Minus One is a reimagining of the original 1954 Godzilla film Gojira. In this version, the story diverges by having Godzilla appear right after the atomic bombs are dropped, instead of the Lucky Dragon incident that happened in the 1950s. The twist is that there might be two Godzillas of the same species, but with differences. One will resemble a familiar scarred dinosaur like Godzilla, while the other is described as not being affected by nuclear energy or radiation. This version has proportions similar to an orca, having a smooth skin and a prominent dorsal fin-like plate. Maybe it's the one that has been teased in the poster. It also will possess a tail reminiscent of the Pokemon Mewtwo, but adapted for aquatic life. The film may delve deeper into the perspectives of these creatures, and it is expected to have a tragic ending. As the Scott Godzilla wreaks havoc on the surface world, in Japan, the other Godzilla will try to guide it back to its natural habitat, but then one of them might die, or maybe both of them. The third theory is the one Godzilla, the Godzillasaurus, and the Godzilla theory. So here during the Pacific War in 1944 on Lagos Island, both the Japanese and American forces fight each other and then encounter a Godzillasaurus. The creature will defend its territory and also help the Japanese, repelling the Americans but getting injured in the process. So unlike the Heisei plot of time travel and all those Futurian stuff, here the Godzillasaurus would somehow be affected by nuclear testings later, right after 1945, and then mutate to become the terror of Japan, Godzilla. He would also have resentment and a desire to take revenge on humanity for turning him into a terrifying creature, hence the overarching theme of nuclear testings and its dangerous effects. This Godzilla will start destroying towns and cities in Japan, while the defense forces of the country will have to plead help with the US to use another nuke to kill the kaiju. This one, I believe, makes the least sense out of all the three. So as to what MindQ really believes, Godzilla Minus One would be just like the original, a respectful re-rendition or reboot of the first ever film. It will have motion capture and CGI instead of a man in a suit, that's for sure. But this one will be seen from different perspectives and angles, capturing the terror of what it would be like to be a Japanese citizen during a monster attack, and at the same time give justice to Godzilla's character, who has always began his career as a monster, a horror-inducing force of nature that is beyond humanity's control. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button for support and subscribe, but most of all, smash that bell icon for regular updates on new videos here on this channel. Take care, fam.